Hello everybody, I'm Bert Eliason with the PBS Applications Training Team. In this video, we're going to take a look at how you can use the SWIS drill down tool to engage in some good data analysis related to information you found when looking at the SWIS Equity Report. If you haven't seen our Equity Report video series, I'd encourage you to take a look at those and then come back to check out this video. If you have watched the SWIS Equity Report videos, you know we found some red flags and we're ready to dive deeper into exploring what's happening at our school. It seems that our students who identify as Native, Black, or Hispanic Latinx experience disproportionate outcomes related to school discipline. So now we come to the drill down tool to narrow our focus and understand the context surrounding the disproportionality. This is where we start to answer those critical WH questions: who, what, when, where, and why. The answers help us build a precise description of what's going on in the school. A description that makes it easier for the school team to address because they can precisely describe what is occurring. We call that a precise problem statement. You know, as a principal, I remember staff walking into the lunchroom early in the fall complaining that our students were out of control. Out of control. It doesn't tell me very much about what the problem really is. Neither I nor the school-wide PBIS team could do much to effectively address that situation. We really needed more information to determine what was going on, who was involved, when and where those issues were happening, and why our students were behaving in this manner. The drill down tool and the analysis process can help our team address these problems more effectively. Let's see how we can use this tool to start to address the disproportionality happening in our school. From the SWIS dashboard, click on the drill down tool. For our work today, I'm going to change the school year to 2018-19 school year by opening up the date and time filters, and then opening the date folder and double-clicking on the 2018-19 school year. Then we'll click Generate. Our team decides to start by looking at students who identify as Hispanic Latinx. The first thing I want to do is go to the report filters on the left, click on Demographics, and open the Race and Ethnicity folder. I'll double-click on the Hispanic Latinx group. That adds this student group to the data to include in the data set. Now, when I click Generate, every graph, summary, and table includes only the students who identify as Hispanic Latinx and have received a referral during the 2018-19 school year. The first thing I notice is in the summary. There are 155 referrals given to 39 students by 56 different staff members. At PBIS Apps, we recommend if there are more than 10 referrals or 10 students, we're more likely talking about systems issues as opposed to individual student issues. And these data suggest we have a systems issue. I also notice on the location graph that most of the referrals occur in the classroom, but there are a lot happening in the hall and on the playground and the common areas, and some in the cafeteria. I'm looking for a piece of information that will help me narrow down the scope of the problem. Since my building is pretty large, I might want to know if the problem happens across all grade levels or maybe just with a specific group of students. So I'll change the graph type to grade. It looks like my third graders have a lot of referrals than the other lower grades. I also notice that my 6th and 8th graders are experiencing quite a bit of referral activity. Because the 6th and 8th graders are closer in age range, I'm thinking about looking at them together. Let's add these grades to our list to create the who in our precise problem statement. Over here in the report filters on the left, I'm going to demographics again, and this time we'll open the folder for grade. I'm going to double-click on the 6th grade and double-click on the 8th grade. Then I'll click Generate. Now we're looking at just the referrals given to students who identify as Hispanic Latinx who are in the 6th and 8th grades in the 2018-19 school year and had at least one referral. In the summary, we see this data set includes 106 referrals for 28 students from 46 different staff. It's time to figure out the what of our precision statement. Let's change the graph type to problem behavior. It looks like this group of students are referred mostly for tardy, defiance, and inappropriate language. These are all important to address, but I'm going to start with tardy because it's the behavior happening most frequently. I'll head back over to the report filters, go to problem behavior, find and double-click on tardy, and again click Generate. Now we are just looking at referrals from Hispanic Latinx students in the 6th or 8th grade who received at least one referral for being tardy. I'll change the graph type back to location to understand more about where this problem's behaviors happens. It looks like we have 22 students who are hanging out in the hall in the common areas when they need to be in class. I can add hall and common area to my data set by going back to the report filters, opening the location folder, and double-clicking on those two locations. I now know the who, our 6th and 8th graders who identify as Hispanic Latinx, the what, tardy, and the where, hallway and the common areas. Next, I want to know when, and we can find that out by changing the graph type to time of day. It looks like our when is right after lunch. Let's add that to our filters. We select date and time, open the time folder, double-click on this filter that says After Time. Up in the filters to include in Dataset, I have this After Time filter, and it wants me to select an actual time. I'm going to select noon, and again click Generate. Now I know the who, what, when, and where. I just need to know why the students seem to be late to class. I'm going to change the graph type to perceived motivation. It looks like for the most part we have obtaining peer attention. All that's left is to put all of this together into our precise problem statement. We have 6th and 8th grade Hispanic Latinx students receiving referrals for being tardy after lunch when they're hanging out in the hallways to obtain peer attention. Now that is something our team can focus on and probably do something about. One idea might be to work with the students and figure out how to give them more positive attention for ending up where they're supposed to be when they're supposed to be there. As the administrator or as a member of the school-wide PBIS team, another way we can help is to walk through these hallway areas a few minutes before the tardy bell to encourage students to get to their classrooms on time. That's the drill down process. We took something we learned in the equity report and used the drill down tool to answer all the WH questions. Remember, this is only one example and only one of the red flags we wanted to look at more closely. For example, we need to come back to the referrals for defiance and inappropriate language given to the 6th and 8th grade Hispanic Latinx students. And there was also the issue around our 3rd grade Hispanic Latinx students having more referrals than the students in the other lower grades. We also know from the equity report, our students who identify as Black and students who identify as American Indian Alaska Native receive a disproportionate amount of referrals as well. The graphs in the SWIS equity report help us spot instances of disproportionality, and the drill down tool helped us begin the analysis it takes to describe the problem with more precision. The drill down report gives the school-wide PBIS team something to actually work with, and avoids guessing at what the problem might be. By describing the problem in a precise manner, our school has a better opportunity to address those situations more effectively and efficiently. An important thing to remember is that using this process helps us identify contextual situations we might address within our building. In looking at our school context, we must remember to always consider looking inward as well as outward. These tools help us describe the problems we are seeing, but we must also remember to look at the context that those problems exist within. What is it about our system that allows these problems to exist? And what can we do systemically and proactively to help create a more supportive environment for our student success? At PBIS Applications, we hope you're using both of these tools to help bring about more equitable opportunities for all your students.